Hey friends! So I thought I would give you a quick tutorial today, absolutely free because it's definitely available elsewhere on Pinterest. I know a bunch of my fellow artists have tried it, but it's a fun, easy way to make ornaments or paper envelopes. So here's what I'm going to show you how to make. Now this one is a jumbo version, but I do have smaller sizes. But what I want to show you for the jumbo version is if you're thinking for Christmas gifts or some kind of unique card, you can actually tuck a little cash, a little gift card. This could be your little messenger bird. So it doesn't have to just be beautiful, it can be functional as well. And there's also a very small version that you can put on Christmas trees because it's very light. You could use old Christmas cards, old art, new art. I mean, sky's the limit. So let's get started. So to do this craft, you can use heavy paper, regular paper. My friend Janice used scrapbooking paper. These are watercolor, 90-pound, very light, kind of not the heaviest that you can get in watercolor, so they're going to fold nicely. There's watercolor from a kids class that I had done, and just to show you from the demo piece, this is poster paper that I painted on with acrylic, and it folded nicely. So what I suggest you have is a piece of poster paper or an older piece of art, and I will show you how to make them in two sizes. For color today, I'm going to use tempera paint sticks because they dry really fast and they're bright and they're fun. And I'm going to chaos layer this poster paper. If you don't know what chaos layer is, I'm just going to do a random bunch of colors, marks, and designs just to mark it all up and make it useful for today's craft. So this is an example of a chaos layer, and you can definitely help delegate the process and get some of your littles involved, or just taking your time, put a blindfold on even, make it a fun intuitive exercise by selecting colors that you can't see, and just mark up your paper. If you want true colors, use white paper. I used yellow, so everything's going to play by the laws of color and have a slight bit of variation due to that background color. Alright. Next step is to fold and cut. So I like to make it as simple as possible and use the edges of the paper to make sure I'm doing it straight. So I'm going to fold, and I'm going to make sure it's straight on both sides and press down. And as far as width goes, about the length of my finger, or your finger is good. Any bigger and it gets a little difficult to fold it properly. Okay. Tempera sticks are lovely because they're dry. And they're great for doing these small crafts because you're not likely to want these to last 100 years. Okay. Just going to cut along that fold. Do the same thing to show you the example here on this one. This is my watercolor embellished sheet. We'll make a little miniature version. There we go. And if you're into Halloween, you could do these on a piece of black watercolor paper, decorated in white pine or however you would choose to decorate that, and make crows instead of crazy colored birds. Christmas, you could do pistos, but just remember to have fun and do you. All right, so here is the method to the madness. I keep the color side up, okay, making like, one of those ribbons you pin to yourself, a little knot, and then slowly. So there is a little bit of finesse. You have to take your time and just slowly work the paper into a knot. One side will be your beak side, so you do need it. There we go. And I would say practice this on a piece of paper you're not going to use, just to get the feel of it. As you can see, even though I've done this a bunch of times, you can still end up struggling a little bit with your folds. But just be patient. onto your beak side so it doesn't disappear back in. You can adjust all the paper. Isn't it fun when things are harder live, or recorded anyway? So, worst case, just go back, open it up, and try again. Pushing and pulling. There we go. Okay. So sorry it took a minute. I'll redo it a few times this video so you're going to see it. But this is the basic shape. Tail, beak. Now I'm going to go in here with a Sharpie so you can see it on camera. But you don't have to. You can just freeform cut it. But you're going to create a little half circle right along there, and then your beak and head is going to come through that section. So I'll show you real quick. So wherever that half circle finishes, that is the tip of your beak. And you're just going to gently round out the back of the head. Okay, and then you come back in following your line, if you made one. And there we go. So how you want to shape the head is up to you, but that's your basic shape. You can make them fatter, more cuter, bigger beaks. That, you know, sky's the limit. And then what I want you to do, see here, the edge of the bottom. I'll draw it out so you can see for sure, as I don't have a ruler, because why would I have a ruler? I'm going to line up that tip of the edge of the bird here, just like that. Make it easy for me to know where to cut. I find I like this shape of tail. Has a little duck-like, but it's easy. It keeps it identifiable as a bird shape. And there you go. Now, as you can see here, I'll show you. I gave it two tails. You don't have to. I just had extra pieces, so what I've done is staple it on. You could hot glue it. You can upscale this craft to something a little more elegant, or you can keep it very user-friendly like I have done here. And if you want the two tails, cut that tip off. There you go. Staple it on, glue it on, whatever works best for you. As far as getting a hole in it, all I did was use a hole punch. If you have something you prefer to make holes with, go right ahead. And then I added in the larger hanging pieces a strip of marker embellished canvas. So you're welcome to try that if you like. You can use lots of other things to secure it. You can use Christmas ornament hooks as well. I'll grab one out of my stash here. And then you just, like so, and it hangs. Easy peasy, right? And you could add decorations, you could get out glitter glue, you can, I mean, sky's the limit. This is just your basic idea. So let's try that again with a bigger sheet of paper. And hopefully my folding is better. If you are really struggling, it could be that your width is too wide, so just come back in and cut it down a little smaller. Let's see what I get here. Too wide. Learning as we go, friends. So I'm going to refold another strip, just a little bit narrower. There we go. Make it easier for myself to fold and cut. There we go. Try it again. Color side up or down, however you want to say that. There we go. And slowly just begin to work your paper. There we go. Just takes some finagling, that's all, friends. So don't give up hope if you're struggling. Definitely try it out on some scrap paper or skinnier paper just to get the feel of it. This is a bit heavier, it is coaster paper after all, but to get the big ones to hold their shape, I kind of like the thicker paper. So I'm willing to do the work to get it to fold. So now I'm just cutting out my head shape. There's where my beak is going to start. Go. I'm going to cut my tail using the bottom edge of that fold as my marker, and I'm going to take it to the tip of this piece. There we go. Okay, I'm going to cut that off. If you want the bird to have specific elements for wings and faces, then I would suggest using blank paper and going back in after and adding those details. That is entirely up to you. Poke my hole in. And there we go. If I want, like I said, I can come back in, add that second tail, give it a little bit of more dimension if you like, but it's entirely up to you. So I hope you will try this fun little bird paper craft. It is definitely, like I said, fun. You can add a little card in at Christmas time, well, smaller card anyway, with some cash or a gift card, their kind of idea. Hooks. Slide out their gift. Something fun, unique, and definitely full of endless variety. So here's a little bonus clip. This is what I used to create the ties for my larger birds. And what this is a strip of waxing eyebrow canvas that is left over from my many years as a hairstylist. 20 plus years, and I've been slowly cracking away with crafts with this particular roll, so I believe you could pick this up at a hair supplier, a Sally's maybe. Yeah. So I love the pinking shear edge, but unfortunately I don't have pinking shears to keep that consistent, but oh well. It's fun for fun. But if you have pinking shears and canvas, then you know that'd be really cool. And then I went with a simple sort of checker pattern, just because there's usually a lot of color and activity on my birds. And this gives the eye a little somewhere to rest. There we go. Fold it up a few times. This is only workable material for the larger birds. If you wanted to use it on a smaller bird, I would go with embroidery thread or yarn or store-bought ribbon with a pattern that you really like on it. There we go. Right. Easy peasy homemade. You could cut up canvas if you have it, cut it off the stretcher, like say the canvas, like I've had frames warp, so I cut this canvas right off the frames and then cut it down into smaller bits and use it as collage elements, or in this case you could cut it into strips and use it as ties, and then you're not wasting anything. So yeah, thanks again for joining me, and if you do this craft, I hope you'll share it with me, or at least have fun and make use of it. Have a fabulous day.